I trust that you're well. Welcome to Miss Fontaine channel. In this session, we're going to look at the wrongful conviction of Kirk Bloodsworth. That is when forensics got it wrong. Forensic science is often seen as the ultimate truth teller, the bridge between mystery and justice. But what happens when that bridge collapses? When science, witnesses, and the justice system combine to create the wrong story. This is the haunting story of Kirk Bloodsworth, a man sentenced to death for a crime that he didn't commit, and how DNA evidence, years later, revealed the truth that others had buried. And let's look at the crime that shook Maryland. It was 1984 in the quiet town of Rosedale, Maryland, when horror struck. A 9-year-old girl named Dawn Hamilton was found brutally murdered, beaten, sexually assaulted, and strangled near a wooded area where she had gone to look for a lost kitten. The community was shattered. The media swarmed, and pressure to find the killer was immense. Police turned to the only tools that they had, that is, witness statements and composite sketches. No DNA tests, no digital databases, just human memory and desperation. Within weeks, a name surfaced: Kirk Bloodsworth, a 23-year-old former Marine who lived nearby. He didn't have a violent record. He didn't know the girl, but 5 witnesses claimed they saw someone who looked like him, and that was all it took. The investigation and arrest, investigators built their case on circumstantial evidence. A neighbor said Kirk's van was near the crime scene. A child described a man with curly hairs and a mustache. Police found nothing linking him physically to the crime. No blood, no hair, no fingerprints. But public outrage demanded a suspect, and Kirk fit the picture they painted. In 1985, after a brief trial filled with emotional testimony and speculation, Kirk Bloodsworth was convicted of rape and murder and sentenced to death. He was only 24 years old. As the verdict was read, Kirk whispered, "I am innocent." But in that courtroom, no one believed him. Life on death row. Death row became his new reality. Concrete walls, steel bars, and endless time. He spent nearly 9 years behind bars, 5 of them under death sentence. He read legal documents, wrote letters, and prayed for a miracle. Inmates mocked him, guards ignored him, and society had already judged him guilty. But deep inside, Kirk held on. He held on to one thought: if science can put me here, maybe science can set me free. If science can put me here, maybe science can set me free. In the late 1980s, a new scientific revolution began: DNA profiling. For the first time, biological evidence could be analyzed with precision, identifying individuals with near certainty. Kirk read about it in prison and immediately saw a ray of hope. He begged his lawyers to test the evidence from his case, a pair of underwear found near the scene. At first, the system resisted. The evidence was old, the technology expensive, and the case long closed. But persistence paid off. In 1992, the samples were finally tested using the newest DNA methods. The results were clear. The DNA did not match Kirk Bloodsworth. He was innocent. After almost 9 years in prison, Kirk Bloodsworth was exonerated in 1993. He became the first person in the United States freed from death row through DNA evidence. His story sent shockwaves through the justice system, proving that forensic science could both condemn and redeem. That case did not end there. Years later, the same DNA sample that freed Kirk identified the real killer, a man named Kimberly Raffner, who ironically had been imprisoned in the same facility as Kirk for another crime. The true killer had been there, just cells away. And what lessons do we get from the Bloodsworth case? The Bloodsworth case exposed multiple flaws that haunt forensic justice even today. The first one is eyewitness misidentification. Find that memory is unreliable, especially under stress or even media pressure. The second one is lack of physical evidence. Convictions built on emotion, not science, often lead to error. The third one is confirmation bias. Once police focused on Kirk, every fact was interpreted to fit that narrative. And the fourth one is delay in forensic progress. DNA technology existed but was not yet widely accepted. This case became a turning point, sparking reform movements and greater funding for forensic DNA programs across the US. Today, the Innocence Project continues to use the same science that freed Kirk to exonerate hundreds of others who were wrongfully convicted. Kirk Bloodsworth's story isn't just about science. It is about truth, time, and resilience of one man's belief in justice. He once said, "If it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone." Forensic science holds immense power, but that power demands humility. Because even the smallest assumption, the faintest bias, or the simplest error can destroy a life. Today, forensic experts continue to improve, to question, and to remember that behind every file number, there's a human waiting to be heard. If you found this story powerful, don't forget to like, to share, to comment, and to subscribe. Join me next time as we explore another case where science, justice, and truth collided. Because in the end, forensics doesn't just solve crimes, it also redeems the innocent. Thank you for joining us. This is Miss Fontaine channel. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you in our next session. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning.